So the Tempus Torrent DLC marksman rifle is available to unlock for free as part of the Modern Warfare 2 Season Reloaded update, and so here is the fastest way to unlock the Tempus Torrent marksman rifle in Modern Warfare 2 right now. Make sure to leave a like if you find this guide helpful, and make sure you check out my other Season 2 guides like leveling up weapons fast for when you actually unlock the Tempus Torrent, and subscribe for more useful Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone videos. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. So the challenge for Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone to unlock the Tempus Torrent is that you need to get 25 double kills using a marksman rifle. Now I'm sure most of you know, a double kill is when you get 2 or more kills within about 3 to 5 seconds of each other. So it's not a massive window of time, it's quite short, and you'll know when you get a double kill because you'll see the double kill medal pop up on screen to tell you've actually got it. So we're going to talk about that today. If you want to do it in DMZ, there's a separate challenge for that, which you basically need to extract the weapon from DMZ. We're not going to talk about that in this video. Now, getting these 25 double kills can be quite difficult to complete, but with these tips you'll be able to earn the weapon in no time. So let's start off with the class setup then, and what you want to do is put on any marksman rifle you're going to use. It's up to you which one, but the attachments you want to put on, first of all you want to put on a larger magazine, so I put one which doubled it from 10 to 20 rounds, and therefore you get lots more bullets, and I'll explain why that's important in just a minute. You also want to make sure you have a good optic or a decent iron sight on the weapon. You want to make sure your weapon has attachments to allow you to have a good aim down sight speed, and possibly think about the recoil, although it's not super important. For the score streaks you want to put on a UAV so you can find more enemies and therefore help you to get more kills more quickly. Okay, so what are the best maps and modes in the game right now? Well, given that Season 2 Reloaded has just come out, it brought with it a new close quarters mosh pit, which is lots of good maps including Shipment, Dome, that kind of thing. I'd recommend going into that playlist because that's the best one right now. Now if you're a Warzone only player and you want to unlock this weapon, I'd highly recommend jumping on Modern Warfare 2 as soon as you can, because for a limited amount of time they've got a free to play period where you can trial out the game, including the fast paced close quarters mosh pit. So I'd highly recommend getting onto that if you want to unlock any weapons while it's around, as it's more difficult to do in Warzone. Now I'd recommend avoiding the new Himmelmatt Expo map mosh pit, as it's a fairly large map. It's not great for getting fast kills, it's kind of slow and boring. I don't really like the new map, so I would personally avoid that, and I would say stick to the close quarters mosh pit. Obviously if there's other modes in the game like Shipment or Shoot House 24/7, obviously go for that, but if not, this is pretty good. Also, given that we're dealing with marksman rifles which are normally single shot weapons, hardcore modes can also be okay too. And ideally within any of these mosh pits you want to be playing game modes that have objective bases to them. So for example, Hardpoint or Domination are two quite good ones, so I tried to stick to playlists with fast paced maps and using those kinds of modes. Obviously you can't always choose the mode, but try and get into matches with those modes. So when you're actually in the game, what kind of tips can I recommend for you guys? Well, the first thing is you want to make sure you're reloading when not near enemies, so you're less likely to need to reload during a gunfight. You also want to make sure you're ideally aiming down sight before coming out from behind cover or going around a corner, and you want to expect an enemy to be there so you're more likely to kill them rather than being caught off guard. The reason we said earlier we wanted a bigger magazine is because you've got more bullets, and with some of them there's not many to start off with. So the base weapon without any attachments had 10 rounds, but if you're using the trigger finger quite quickly to get through all those rounds to try and get those 2 kills, you might have to reload before being able to get onto the second kill, which I often found myself doing, and therefore having this large magazine means you've got more ammo, and therefore you won't need to reload in the middle of a gunfight, as that will quite often bottleneck you and stop you getting the double kill. You want to try to push towards enemy spawns and high flow areas of the map to try and get kills, especially on smaller maps. So like Shipment, you definitely want to be pushing around as much as possible, whereas for other maps you want to try to hold down that area to look for enemies. Now to be honest with you, I struggled with this challenge a little until I stopped rushing around as much and started sticking more to one area and waiting for enemies to come to me rather than I go to them. Once I started slowing down, letting enemies come to me, it actually became a lot more easy to get the double kills. Don't stress about double kills, just pick off as many enemies you can as fast as you can. In my head I sometimes go through as soon as I've killed the first enemy and I'll be counting myself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and by the time it gets to about 3 to 4 seconds I know if I've not found an enemy it's not going to happen, and therefore I don't need to stress about it. But that's just me, sometimes that can be more stressful. It can also be great to hang around objective areas, so for example like the Domination or hard points like I mentioned from playing those modes. If you wait around those areas for several enemies to show up and take a flag back or something, it's really useful. You'll see in the gameplay a lot of it is based around objective objective points, enemies flocking towards them, and therefore you don't need to run to enemies, because if you find where the objective is, hang around that area, the enemies will come to you, and you've got the advantage because you're not rushing about, you're staying still. Obviously you can also mount onto stuff or take cover or whatever, but it's not essential. You should have a few seconds between kills, but obviously just try to get the kill as soon as possible. If you see another person, go for that person. Don't waste time, don't muck about, just get straight for the kills. I know it can seem quite difficult, but I think after a match or so it's fairly easy to get into the swing of things. If you're getting lots of shipment matches, obviously you can get this done really quickly. If you get slightly larger maps, not quite as quickly, but you'll see from the gameplay, Farm 18 is another map that comes up a lot, and that was really good, especially if you can predict where enemies are coming from. So I think at one point I was staying near the left lane for the enemies that comes off their spawn, and lots of people coming that way. So yeah, you just got to kind of try and predict where enemies are coming from. But yeah, so that is how to unlock the Tempus Torrent marksman rifle fast in Modern Warfare 2 Season 2 Reloaded. Once you unlock it, you'll want to level it up and make a good class, so check out my easy Season 2 weapon XP guide via the card on screen, link in the description, and feel free to check out my best class setup as well for the weapon. Check out my other Season 2 guides as well, how to unlock other weapons like the crossbow, how to level up the battle pass, all that kind of stuff. I hope you guys found this useful. If you did, be sure to leave a like so that other people can find the video too, and feel free to subscribe by clicking the bell icon to stay up to date with all my latest Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone videos. But thank you so much for watching, hope you found it useful, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.